Hello Excel champions, it's William aka Dr. Excel. Today I'm going to show you how to create a macro in Excel, which is probably one of the most powerful features of Excel because it allows you to automate pretty much anything. So I'm going to show you two ways to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you right away how it works, and you can download the final file with all the formulas, all the code, everything set up. There's going to be the link just below the video so you can access everything and follow with me. So the first thing, what we're going to try to do, we're just going to try to do a macro first that just displays a message box, like a kind of a pop-up, and say a pop-up that says hello, and activate this pop-up when we click on a button. So first thing, if you want to create macros, actually you're going to need the developer menu, which I don't think I have set up here. So to activate it, you go to File, where is it? In Options of Excel. File Options, Customize Ribbon, and here basically you have all the menus that you have available in Excel, and there's the developer menu, which is not ticked by default, and you're going to tick it, okay. And it just added a developer tab here. So now I can access two very important things. First of all, we can access the Visual Basic Editor. So basically, Visual Basic, it's the language, the name of the language in which we write macros. So it's kind of a specific programming language. I'm not gonna get into the details of the language, but that's what we use. And so for that, we can click here, Visual Basic Editor, which gives us basically all the places where we can write some code. Okay, and what we do usually here, so here, this is the name of the file. This is all the objects we have in the file. So the workbook, the sheets. So each sheet is an object. And we can add modules, which is actually a place where we can write some macros. So I'm going to do a right click, insert module, and this creates like a text file where I can add some code. And so we're going to write our first macro. So I start with sub, which means it's actually a little program. So I'm going to call it sub hello. So it begins by sub and ends by end sub. So this means all of this between these two blue instructions is one macro. And I'm just gonna use message box hello. Okay. So message box is actually a very useful instruction that you can reuse in any of your macros. It shows a pop-up, so a message for the user, so you can use it as reminders, as pretty much anything, to display useful information for the user. So that's one thing. Here is where we write the code. So it's in module 1. First thing, how to edit the code, and then how to insert actually a macro so we can use it. One thing which is really useful, we can insert controls. So for example, you have all a list of different little widgets you can use. We're going to use a button, the first one here, and so we just draw actually I'm going to redo it, not sure you've seen it. So insert button. You just basically draw the button you want to use. You can use whatever size you want, and it's gonna ask you which macro you want to assign when you press the button, and we're gonna choose the macro we just wrote before, which is called hello. Okay. So here I'm going to rename it. So right click, edit text, and I'm going to say I'm going to call it say hello. Okay, And so what happens when I press it, I just click on it, I have a message that says hello. So that's really simple. That's really the basics, but it shows you how to write a macro and to display a message. So now you can start modifying it and add whatever instruction you want with VBA, with the VBA language. Another way we can create a macro actually, and which is really useful, is to for example, I'm going to write some numbers here, and let's say I want to compute the sum here, just for the example. What you can do as well with macros, you can record the macro. So what you're going to do something manually, and you're going to say, I want Excel to capture everything that I'm doing and write the exact code that matches what I'm doing. And that's actually really useful because you don't even have to write the code. So if you're not super good with code, or if you don't have time to write anything, or one time it's really useful as well is for format, because well, it's kind of complicated to write all the detailed code for format. It's easier to write manually. Yeah, this time it's easier to record the macro. So how do you record a macro? You just click record. We're gonna call it recorded macro. Okay. And now where is it? Here you have like a little square, which means you can actually stop the recording, and it's currently recording. So it's recording everything you do within your Excel sheet. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna compute the sum. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add some format here to show you how useful it is. I'm gonna put some color. I'm gonna put it in bold, and I'm going to put like a border on top, like this one, you know. And now I can stop the recording. So the macro is recorded. Now to access it, I'm going to go to Developer, Visual Basic, and you see I have a new module, which means a new object that contains some code and contains the recording macro. So here what we've done basically so it records when you select some cells, when you add a formula, when you select a cell, and this is where it gets really useful. It actually writes all the code for the format without you needing to write it, you know. So just for something that is blue with like a line on the top and in bold, you have all this code where you yeah, it's kind of complicated to come with that like from scratch. So it's really useful to be able to write it. So now, for example, let's say that so what I can do now, I can make a new button. So I'm going to add a new button, and I'm going to allocate it the recording macro, and I'm going to edit the text and call it I'm going to call it put sum in blue. Okay. And so for example, now I'm gonna clear all of this. Actually, I'm gonna clear everything here, and now I can just put the sum in blue, and you see it's gonna do the same thing, put the formula and put the format, and you see it's done it like in a second, in like a few milliseconds, so it's super quick. So that's really just a quick example to see how you can write a macro. Of course, you can do really complicated things. You can do like you can do macros that are going to go through thousands and thousands of lines in a report, look for information, and then you know, print a new report. You can pretty much automate everything you want with a macro, and this is how you can create your first one, first by hand, you know, in the developer Visual Basic Editor. Second one, you can record it with the record, which is actually right here. You can just press this to start recording a new macro and transform whatever you're doing into a macro. I'll let you download the file, which is going to be right below the video, so you can access everything, see the code, and I will see you tomorrow for a new Excel tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe if it's not done already. This way you will get notified as soon as I publish it. See you tomorrow, guys. Ciao.